Welcome back, my fellow duplicants, to Oxygen Not Included. Today I've got a brand new series for you, Dupollo 13. So some of my duplicants from the last Ultimate Automation Challenge have survived, but there was a catastrophic event somewhere up in space, and now they are shipwrecked on the surface of the map. Travaldo, Bubbles, and Lurda made it out alive. So rather than starting down here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to spawn in a spaceship all the way up here at the top of the map. And then we're going to work our way down from the surface. All right, so there we go. We have the spaceship here. And I asked some people over here on the Oxygen Not Included Challenge Discord page over here. And Jimmerjack came up with something here. Got the ball rolling. And you can see that he has a couple different tanks there and different ways to produce oxygen and whatnot. And then we also have Zact41 Pro. He also made this spaceship that we're going to see in the back here. However, this was just kind of a starting block to kind of work with. There are a lot of conditions that have to be accounted for in order to work in space here. One of the things is we're going to need a lot of drywall because all of this oxygen, well, it's just going to disappear. So the topic of today's video is just going to be designing this spaceship here within the space that I have right there. I can't really expand beyond that. So I'm going to kind of redesign this a little bit as needed so that, one, I understand what it's doing, and two, so that it actually will survive all of the conditions. And if you start to look at all the different things that this thing has to account for, there's a lot of design requirements here. We got to account for meteorites, we got to account for heat, food, oxygen, morale, water, research, germs, power, all within a relatively small amount of space up there. And it has to be stable enough so that I don't just die within the first few cycles. So we'll go ahead and reveal this right there. There we go. Thank you, Bubbles. Bubbles. Bubbles, you're in the wrong spot. Bubbles. I want you to stop moving, Bubbles, so that I can... There you go. There you go. Stop moving. Teleport. All right, we're off to a good start. Okay, so a lot of things didn't really carry over here, but there's some inspiration that I kind of like here. As far as the idea of using chlorine right there to purify the water, we will need some system that's a bit like that. I think all of it's just vented into space, and there needs to be a little bit more automation there. So I'm going to pull in from a lot of the different experiences in automation and whatnot that I've done thus far. Okay, so one of the ideas that I was thinking about incorporating up here is this one here from Jimmerjack. Kind of posted this idea of having a little puddle for the auto miners right there so that they can kind of dig up. I like that. I think I'll try to incorporate that up here. You can also see that when you go to paste certain things in, they move on you, and the tool kind of works. It's not really designed to do what we're trying to do here. So all the power wires are pretty much broken, which is okay because I'm gonna have to make all of that work for me anyhow. All right, so how to do this? Let's just start off at the top of the list. Meteors, I need to protect from meteors. So this is the top of my spaceship. And then everything below it will be meteor protection. We'll try to keep some sort of array over here as per the inspiration. So one thing that I can't have is like a normal tile right underneath a bunker door or a bunker tile because that has usually led to damage. So I kind of need to have a little bit of a gap there in order to keep things from being destroyed. And I don't need bunker tiles on the bottom because there's not going to be any meteors down there, so that probably won't be needed. Although it is kind of a cool thing for as far as the spaceship is concerned. It's probably not going to look much like a spaceship by the time we're done. Okay, so a robo-miner has a fairly good reach. We'll try to put one right around here. We need a radar as well. So we can put the space scanner right there. And that'll work out. So if I put one robo-miner there, you can see how far I can reach, right that far. So then I can place the other one right around here if I wanted to. For our protection, we might want to use a bunker tile up there just because that's going to be exposed to space. Now, does this still have the same reach? Yes, it does. So up here, we can put a nice little solar panel. There we go. And then I'll need a space scanner as well. So that can be placed right there. The thing is, the space scanner, you kind of need a couple of them just to get a good, well, you don't necessarily need a couple of them, but I kind of want it to be safe. To a certain degree. So I think I'll try to have... No. Should I have more than one? I like this arrangement, so I think I'll make 2 of those. How does that play with a bunker door? 1, 2... Yeah, that works all right. So we won't get a bunch of power out of it, but I think it'll work okay. In order to increase my sensing time, I'm gonna go ahead and place one of these over here. And then I'll put yet another little robo-miner right there. And then a bunker door above that. It's going to have a fairly limited amount of sight though, so. However, we also need a way to get up to this equipment. So we're going to have to kind of design something up there. An access point via transit tube access. You're definitely going to need to be inside of an exosuit to get up there. So we'll try to do this number so we can go on over, and then if we need to, we can go up and back around to the left. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a couple of tiles right there, and then we're going to have an exosuit dock up here. Atmosuit dock right there, so that we can go into this area, we can maintenance this stuff, or we can climb up a ladder and then head back over here to this equipment. So this is also going to be our home for our smart storage power supply up there. So we'll be able to use that to our advantage. So the power grid starts to look a little something like that. And because it's a spaceship and super high tech, yeah, definitely we're going to have some auto sweepers. They can cover most things, but not all things. So then these will be sent to pick up filtration medium, or, well, actually anything. All sorts of stuff can drop down here. So those will get picked up, conveyed over here, and then stored inside of a little storage locker. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I like that. So far, I like that. I think we'll go ahead and kind of try to tile some of that in, because we have to deal with the oxygen concern now. And the spaceship's not really just open to space all the time. I mean, if the doors are open, then yeah, absolutely, but... Okay, so in order to protect this from potentially becoming a death trap of vacuum, probably need to rework this a little bit and actually use some visco gel in there. So how do I want to make that work? I think what I'll do is just make a little bit of a water lock, but I'm going to use visco gel. I think I need to have it over here. Yeah, see, this is surprisingly difficult. Who knew? It's actually rocket science to build a spaceship. Alright, so there we go. It looks something like that. And then I'll just kind of fill that area with visco gel. Too cold, too cold. There we go. And then because we're not going to trust visco gel, we're not going to trust visco gel, you know, forever. Why can't I build there? Drywall, creep. All right, we're gonna put a little bit of a door right there. That seems double redundancy, baby. I'll go with that all day. All right, so that is 1,680 watts that could potentially pipe through that. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. 1,920. That's a good start. Holy moly! Yeah, okay. This is gonna be real easy. Fantastically easy. Wait, what's a clock sensor? I don't. Okay, we should be okay over here for the most part, but I'm definitely going to use visco gel. There we go. That's a much better airlock. Safe. All right, so now let's deal with the heat that's going to be in this area, because there's going to be a fair bit of it. So in Miner Jack's things right here, he's using petroleum to keep those things nice and cool. Now, I guess I'm assuming that those are probably made of steel. I think I made mine out of unobtainium, but I'm still gonna go with it anyhow. So we'll put a dash of petroleum down there, and there, just to keep that cool. All right, I'm going to expand this just a little bit here. I want to add some cool effects. There we go. Cool. No, that's not what I wanted, darn it. Get out of here. So I'm going to set up a little bit of a clock pulse here so that I can make some lights flash on and off, and they should flash kind of yellow because they're behind some petroleum. Fancy, I know, yeah. I did this challenge just because it's an excuse to build a spaceship and just go nuts automating absolutely everything. By now, you should realize that that's pretty much how I play. Yeah, there we go. Real fancy. Alright, there we go. So now the space scanner here should be able to control the doors. If they see a meteor shower incoming, should be able to sweep up most of the stuff that drops onto here and deliver it to some storage things. Got some lights that'll blink on and off. Oh no, where'd all my petroleum go? Vanishing, that's what. Okay. Never mind. They'll just blink on and off. They'll get hot, but they'll last a good long time before they break. Anyhow, let's move on. So I have a couple of airlocks here that we can go in and out of in order to venture off into other space or build out this spaceship a little bit. So that covers meteors. However, we're going to need to deal with the heat. The heat is fairly massive. It's not going, yeah. So somewhere in here I need a heat flusher. So I think I'm going to have to move this command module somewhere else. So I'll use a thermal aqua tuner here in order to run a cooling loop up here so that I can kind of take care of that heat. Or maybe I could just set it up to be everything. I tell you what, that's what I'll do. I'll just kind of surround everything. So go up here, go through there, go back around, and then here. And then I'll delete that heat. So next to this, I'm going to put a nice little balancer tank so that I always get the right temperatures out of the thing. We're not kind of throwing it all over the place. And I'm using high-end materials for all of this stuff. But I'm not going to have the research. I will have to unlock the research for all of that. Okay, so there's a fairly big cooling loop. What I'm going to do here is just use an automation sensor, and if it's above a certain temperature, then I'll activate or deactivate the thermal aqua tuner. Otherwise, the liquid's just going to pass through it and go back into the reservoir. Oh, I need to check to see what the temperature is coming out of the reservoir. Crap. Okay, so if that temperature is cool enough, then it will exit there. Otherwise, it's just going to move back in over there on the left. And then I'll do that number right there. Okay, so now I'm going to need a way to power this up, but it has to be separate from all of this up here because otherwise I'm just going to blow up the wires. And also I need a way to deposit heat into this area. So many things. Spaceship. Let's go ahead and use some supercoolant. Yeah. I'm going to move that. That doesn't look like it's going to work too well there. Rather, I'll place it down there. And then that frees up all of this to have a spot to go in and out. So I can run a gas pipe just like that with a spot to connect and disconnect up here. And then I could do the same thing with the liquid pipes as well. So liquid thermal sensor can be placed right there. And an automation signal that runs to this. Boom, no problem. Okay, then all of that's connected to the same power grid system that just runs all of this. Okay, good deal, good deal. This is a good spot to exit the spaceship. I like that, I like what we had down there. I just need to rebuild it. Just a few tiles over to the other side now. So the transit tube will go up, and then right here, we're going to go through one of those little transit tube checkpoints right there. There we go, perfect. However, now we need a spot. Okay, so now we're starting to get to something I didn't even think about. Okay, where are we going to land and what is that going to look like? Well, this seems like an obvious place to start to, potentially land. Maybe there's some sort of spaceport dock thing here that we spaceport docked thinged with. And there was really like a secret entrance down here. That seems like a good plan. I'm gonna go with it. And it too has some fancy blinking lights because that's how you know where to go. Good deal. I like it. I like this as far as having a high pressure gas vent and a waste vent. Although I feel like it should be at the butt end of the spaceship. I think this is the front. That's the back. it really does look like the same, whatever. Go with me on this one. Ah, but you know what? It needs a waste gate. So we'll put a hydro sensor there or an atmo sensor. Yeah, and then that will be hooked up to a little bit of an automation signal. So if either of those are true, then the door will open and it'll dump the waste. All right, so now we have a spot where we can travel through, go down, do what you need to do. I think we'll probably have some storage bins over here. Make that out of mafic rock. There you go. As far as a science station is concerned, this is probably a good spot for that research. Or maybe that's a better spot for some lavatories. It's a lot of pipes to cram into one spot though. All right, there we go. We're gonna go with 2 lavatories and 1 sink. That might be a problem, but hopefully it isn't. So there's in and there's out. I might have to rework that a little bit. We need a spot to clean the water. Okay, so we have one of those. Okay, so now to make this work, we're going to need to go like this so that we travel back into the sinks and toilets and whatnot as needed. But if we have too much, we can then use this to delete some heat. So that is a heat flusher. There we go. All right, so this is going to be a heat flusher. I made a whole video on that if you're kind of curious about it, never heard about it. It's a really good way to kind of delete some heat. But out of here, it's going to flow a larger volume of water, and it will be relatively cool because it comes out of this unit here at a given temperature. So go down here, and that'll pick up a lot of heat. And then we're going to bring it back on over here, and then we're going to delete the heat right there. So if we have excess, because you should get some more out of your lavatories than what you put in, then we're going to go and do something with that. That'll be clean water. I don't know if it'll be hot though. It'll probably have some germs in it. So that's going to bring us to our next piece of equipment, which is going to be a liquid disinfecting piece of equipment. So we're going to use chlorine to purify the water inside the tank. And it should be clean water at this point. So that's handy. Just to control the flow into this, I'm going to set up a liquid shutoff. That way I can time out at what times it'll actually enter into this thing. And I can time out at what times I'm able to draw out of it. That is pretty important as far as guaranteeing that you're going to clean the germs up. So that will go in here. And I'm just going to use a clock sensor for that. Everything's so packed in on top of each other. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So this second tank here, if I could flip it, nope I can't. That will be just clean water, or purified water, so no germs. So now this here can run on over to something like where we're going to do some cooking or whatnot. This is such a densely packed thing. There's so much going on here. It's ridiculous. All right. So I think that pretty much covers this area. I think I might just do that number, just kind of keep it nice and the same. We'll put that here like that. And then we'll get rid of that and that back there. And we're going to fill this with chlorine. Just add some chunks of decor. I like what you got going on here with just chunks of granite and whatnot. We'll do some of that wherever I can. And that should help a little bit with decor. So it makes sense that next to this I should build some food, maybe a micro musher and an electric grill. I think one of the things that's going to happen here is we're going to have to like do vole farming or something like that. Because it's weird, we're so high, we're not starting from the middle of the base, so. There's a new Humble Bundle that just dropped the other day. Your beats acetized. Yes, long ago, I used to make my own music. Somewhere out there is a burnt CD with my dubstep before dubstep was a thing. However, I was never really that good at it. Although I've always wanted to get back into it. This Humble Bundle might just help me do that. So what's in this bundle? Well, you got some software like Music Maker right there for as little as $1. That can get you in there, start making some things that sound pretty decent. The big one though is right down here, Acid Pro 7 for as little as $25. Mix in a little bit of SoundForge, and that is a pretty dope combo right there. I used a very old version of that way back in the day. So if this sounds like a great deal for you, there's a link in the description below. You can see right down here that I'm partnered with Humble, so using that link will not only go to support the people that own the software, Humble themselves, it'll also support me and some charities as well. 2 of those are actually pretty good ones right there. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which is the one that I always support, and it's also in support of Hilarity for Charity, which is in support of Alzheimer's disease and the families that are affected right there as far as looking into research and all that stuff. You can check it out right there. Once again, thank you guys so much for your support. Now let me drop you back into the gameplay. Kind of recreate what you had over here, but just move it over there. Oh, you do have a micro musher there. Sorry, I'm literally just clearing this out and building it myself. Oh, well. This is such a densely packed thing, it's kind of hard to know what's in here. Alright, I'll try my hand at a hand sanitizer here. See what I did there? When handling the bleach stone, it can be kind of hard to deal with the chlorine, but I think that's better than trying to run a bunch more pipes all over the place. You know what? That might be a good idea, actually. If I were to use something like that, what could I do? Ooh, diamond floors, yeah, all right. I could put the food right here. So we'll take that, bring it on over there. Put a small storage bin right here where I could have a little bit of bleach stone in there. All right, so there we go. Now we put the food right here. And then next to that, we put a little bit of a storage bin for some bleach stone. Then using a ladder, we'll get into it from above. At this point, I'm not really using the top end materials. I'm kind of switching it up a little bit. Kind of going with what you had over here, using the diamonds and whatnot. Okay, this is a great idea, having a carbon skimmer down there on the bottom. What would also be a good idea is to have some sort of gas filter, just in case I run across, you know, some chlorine or something like that. I like this, the med bed. We'll just kind of copy that and bring it down here. Right, so then we have at least a spot for, whoops, for that. So we can do that number there. Then of course we need a lavatory or something in there. We do a little wall pot here. Yes, yes we can. We're gonna do a hanging pot. Ooh, yeah, I could do that too. Oh, we'll get into decorations later. Let's just keep the main stuff going. We could put that right there, but just simply not plug it into anything. It could technically fit right there, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna put that right there. So now I should have a room. There we go, we got a med bay and a med bay, perfect. Okay, so I do need something to just pump out some oxygen. I don't think we want to rely entirely on an electrolyzer. So I think a diffuser is okay to have down here. So here's the thing, rather than scrubbing the carbon dioxide out, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pump it overboard. So if it's detected, then we'll just get rid of it. I am in space after all. Seems like a great idea. So here's how this is going to work. You see we got oxygen from here. See, I'm gonna have to get rid of all of this decor up here, decorations and stuff. So if that is carbon dioxide, then we're just going to, no. Okay, so if that is oxygen, then we're going to pump it down into here. However, if it is not oxygen, then we're just going to get rid of it. So it'll go down here like this, on over, and then head on out to the exhaust. And then we'll run that one over there as well, just to be checked. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to do a gas bridge like that. So it'll go into the suits as a priority, but otherwise if those are full, then it'll be used to pump out inside the base. So as far as the automation is down here, I'm going to say if this is not oxygen, then we start running it. Maybe I put that over here like that. So if this is not oxygen, then that will turn on. This is just going to look for oxygen, but then it will just be on if I ever lose power. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. It's just going to look for carbon dioxide. If I need it to clear out something else, then I can make it work for something else. And since it's going to sit there and suck up power, I'm going to do something to kind of address that. So here I'm going to use a clock sensor and then a power switch to only allow that to run every once in a while. So this is only going to be active, let's say 10% in the middle of the cycle. So it can really only filter out a little bit for a little amount of time. Okay, we'll build another airlock right there from Visco Gel. Okay. Oh, hey. All right. I still have my notifications turned on. Okay, so I've got germs done. I've got water. Okay, so I've got meteors, heat, food. Sort of have oxygen. Don't really have any water. But I do have germs and some power. Man, that's a lot to put in. This is a challenge all on its own. Okay. Okay, so I should probably build a great hall or something right up here. That'll help with morale. It definitely has to be an arcade station, though. I don't know if we're going to have any water, but we have a water cooler. And then I'll put a pedestal right there, because that's weird. Why not? Okay, so that should help with the morale over there. I kind of feel like I should do something different here. Maybe use some Visco Gel to my advantage to not let gas flow out of this area. Maybe I'll redo that. I don't know. Let's keep moving forward. You know what? That is what I'm going to do. So then that is Visco Gel. The gas should not be able to go through there. I think that might actually work if I do this. It stays back from that. If I hit open. Ah, where'd it go? I'll try. We'll see what happens. Okay, so we need a dining hall. I can go ahead and use this right here as kind of a dining hall area. And maybe I don't put this ladder right there. Maybe I just move it somewhere else. If I make it a great hall, then boom, that's what we have. Of course, I don't need that there. Then I could just kind of take this, take that, deconstruct it, move it on over here, and then use this door sideways like that in order to start to complete a room of that nature. Boop. Mess hall. Why isn't it a great hall? Minimum size 32 tiles. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. There you go. Just a real little mess hall. Okay, so now we need some. All right, well, decent start, but now I need some more oxygen and stuff. What's going on up here? Pressure? There, have a metal tile. I'm going to try to give them comfortable beds. Let's see if I can do that. Not easy. There. Somebody's going to get to sleep right next to the vacuum of space. Sweet dreams. If I do that number, that becomes a barracks. Perfect. I don't know if that's gonna work. I still don't have research. All right, the comfy beds need to go. Put some more art up there, that'll be good. And then I can put the research right there. Oh, and that'll include a jobs board. That's kind of important. Oh, man. Everything is just packed in about as tight as it. Look at that. Look at that. Not a... All right, so I think I'm off to a pretty good start here. Just need to add water, and then I think I'm done. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with the algae deoxidizer, or the oxygen diffuser, I should say, because I think that should be enough for my 3 dupes, and it also gives me a reason to say that this spaceship is here to resupply on algae and or water. Oh yeah, and this thing's about to blow off. What? Lightning? I mean, I have to watch the rocket launch. Boom! Yeah, rockets are cool. I should go to a rocket launch one of these days. I think that would just be a cool experience. Although it says live, this happened a couple of days ago. All right, so focusing back on to my chart here, they got meteors done, heat done, food. I got a place to cook it, but I don't have a consistent source of food. So I'm going to have to go through here and I'm going to have to stock this spaceship because I just don't have enough room to grow anything in here. So yeah, that's gonna be a thing. Although these little guys down here, they're probably worth a pretty decent amount of food. They eat regolith, dirt, iron ore, extrude it as well. They live to be an age of 100. What is their lifespan though? So I think one of my main sources of food is going to be a shovel right down here. So they eat regolith, dirt, iron ores, pretty much anything that's going to be falling on the planet. So that'll be pretty awesome. I'm not 100% sure how much food they're worth though. Let's see what the wiki has to say. Health, phase, gas, drops meat, 16,000 calories. That doesn't seem right. Let's go into the test lab and take a look at that real quick. So if we go in here and we start to get some regolith out, there we go. Spawn a few of those little guys in there. Yum. So if we take one of those little guys, we put him down here, then we attack him. Oh, he tries to run away! What? 16,000? That's a real number. Woo! Wow, okay. Man, do they eat a lot though. Wow. Look at that. One whole storage compactor like gone in just a few cycles. So you want to raise them, and then you want to hunt them back down so you get the meat out. So that gives me a good idea, at least as far as how to deal with the shovels early in the game. It seems like there's something that you could hunt, but you don't want to make them extinct because they should just go around and eat the regolith that's out there. Because they're worth a lot of meat, like a whole lot. If you can raise them and you can feed them enough regolith and whatnot, if you're like harvesting that up from space, which we should be doing because we're up there, then yeah, we can feed that to them and they can become a really great source of meat. So if I get some pinch of peppers and stuff, then whole bunch of barbecue. Okay, so here we are back in Dupollo 13. And in order to, just to give myself a nice little chance here, what we're going to do is we're just going to put a critter feeder right here. Somebody knew something and they're like, hey, let's put that there for a little shovel. And what we're going to store inside of that, well, that'll be regolith. So that'll provide me a way to at least get to some food. All right, so focusing back on what we have going on in here, I need to finish that off, although I want that to be granite, so it's a little bit nicer. There we go. I still need to do something over here. This out here, originally, oh, this isn't going to work. I just figured that out. Okay, so if we take that and we put that like that, then if we do that, should be all good. Always learning, always improving. All right. Then we'll take this number, and we're going to fill this area here. Just like he had last time, but with some chlorine, just because it looks cool. And again, just because it looks cool, we're going to put some helium back there. That's what it's called, helium. It's a new element. A little bit of hydrogen gas, yeah. So we have supercoolant here. And then we'll put a little bit of hydrogen up there as well. Yeah, because that just looks cool. Half of this is about as just looking cool. We'll see if this is airtight now. We'll set this to 290. We'll put in a fair amount of oxygen here. Oh, this is going to look really cool. Okay, so one thing that I don't have here is a great power source as far as how to generate a lot of power. So that would be a power source now, wouldn't it? We're going to use a manual generator to start things up, but that's going to be one of the big challenges that I have to overcome. Yeah, I gotta rework the power a little bit. This power just isn't going to... It's going to explode if I leave it the way it is. These two can be connected like that. But this power right here, yeah, that's got to be improved a little bit. So that can run to the manual generators and whatnot. So that manual generator can function those doors, and this one here can function the rest. So I have 2 power grids. One down below and one above. And because it makes a little bit more sense, I'm going to go ahead and throw a large jumbo battery up there. So that will be connected to this guy right there. So, all right, so let's talk about what we have to work with. I almost like the idea of just kind of going with what is laying on the floor already. But then again, I know that there's some things that I need to spawn. All right, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to stay away from the sandbox tools because I have to find a way to get more Atmos suits and stuff in here. So if I have an Atmos suit, then I can spawn 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th one up there. So if I take a look at the oxygen diffuser, we have 50 grams a second at 550. So that's 330,000 grams, 330 kilograms per cycle, times 20 cycles, times 2, divided by 1,000. Means that I should spawn in 13,200 algae. So when I dig that up, I should have enough for 20 cycles or so. So that's 6.6 tons. Okay, so I need to pump in some water as well. And a little bit of supercoolant. So I'm just gonna paint in a bunch of steam here real quick. We'll hook this stuff up. And then we'll just bring in some supercoolant. Not that much, not at that temperature. And a little bit of water. Okay, and so I don't lose track of it. The water is going to flow into here. Okay, we're almost done. As far as the food is concerned, we are simply going to bring in a bunch of nutrient bars. So I need like 75 of those. That's gonna be a lot of clicking. Roughly 60,000. We'll try to count it up. 60,000 might be a little bit much. Let's see what we end up with up here. There we go, 51,000. That'll be enough. More than enough. I don't know how hard this is gonna be. What? This is overpressured as well? Jeez. Here, take some of that. Okay, so the game is saved up now. Let's go ahead and bring up the dupes and see, just to see what happens. You know, if this is going to work or if I gotta make some more changes. I don't know. There's plenty of resources if you can sweep them up. Maybe too much. I don't want them to have nothing, but we'll see. I should be able to get a good readout of what we have over here. We got some metal ore, we got copper. And their ears are going to pop. That's going to not help them out. We got some refined metal, such as iron and copper. Raw minerals, a bit of mafic rock, sedimentary, not a big deal. Some sandstone that they can use to build things. Filtration medium, such as sand. Water should increase. 6.6 tons of algae, tons and tons of diamond. Rare resource, we got some niobium. And nutrients as well. Okay, so that seems like a fairly decent thing to start off with. This is gonna make dupes really stressed. We're gonna have some issues with stresses. Well, let's go ahead and try to aim exactly what I want to be stored where. So this needs to be chlorine or bleach stone. That's what I don't have. I don't have any bleach stone. So there is some bleach stone, 150 kilograms worth of it. This can just be all. That'll be all as well. We don't really have a way to get the water out for research. How do I do this? Oops, and some things broke here as well. So I could put that down there. If I have a way, if I have a way to get water to it. Let me just clear the floor. Okay, we're going to have a liquid shutoff and then a liquid valve behind that as well. Or can I put the liquid valve over here? Where do I put it? It seems like as good a spot as any. Let me route this through the tiles in the back. Okay, so we do that number to this. And then, and then we jump over this. Whee! And then drop that right there. Little liquid vent. So that will dribble into there, so long as I set it to a low number. However, that's still not enough. I need a sensor down there in order to determine that it has water. And then I use an automation signal to go back up to that. Of course, that needs power as well. Whew. There we go. Now I have a way to get some water out of the thing. Need some sandstone down here. There we go. All right, so if this is everything that I need. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing here? This is not good. This is not, don't be doing that. Yeah, this thing is not on any automation, unfortunately. Okay, so I need to hook this up to some sort of signal that says it only runs if it's above, I don't know, 1500 or something. Well, that's wrong. Ah! What am I even trying to do there? I'm trying to filter it out. Okay. No. Oh, I'm so confused. I've been doing this for too long. I do want that to work like that. I don't want it to pump through the base first. I really want it to go through here. Why is it not going in there? Oh, because it is full. Okay. These just aren't delivered yet. Scanner quality, 0%. 3 seconds. Oh. Kind of hard to build those right here. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be good, but I thought it would have been better than that. Try a dust comet onto that. I'm gonna rock comet. Yeah. See, that's such a pain in the butt. This here does work, so I can kind of do that. That's not what I wanted to do, but I don't see any other option. Basically take this and put it up here. Well, I could just disable both of these. I mean, they really don't do anything for me. This is still... only have 12 seconds. Okay, I guess I don't have a choice. Let's just go ahead and redesign this. All right, let's see what that... 30 seconds. I mean, that's better than nothing. I think it still gives me... yeah, there we go. I could still go up through that. How about a hydrogen generator? Oh, no. I can't. Oh, automation in the way. Steam turbine, yeah. No. Hydrogen generator is a good choice. In case I have hydrogen, that'll be a cool thing to put up there. And, you know, a reason to try to keep it running or something. That one doesn't really serve any purpose, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. And because of that, I'm gonna go ahead and move this so that it's centered up underneath the doors. What happened in here? Where'd all my liquid go? No! Automation wires between this and that. Okay, I think we're good on supercoolant. So I can go ahead and get rid of all of that. And clear these floors. We don't need that in there. That's just some random junk. There we go. That's what I wanted. Now, how am I going to power that up? Okay, so one thought here is I use some power jumpers to go to another battery over there. And I only enable that if I have enough juice to do so. So there's an automation signal between this, there we go, and that runs on a knot. So if this is at, say 95%, it will, oops, if this is at 95, not 95, not 95, then it'll dump until it's down to 70. That's the idea. We'll see what happens here. I'm kind of afraid that that's just going to blow up those wires, though. Ugh. 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 I hate these doors. I wish there was a device that we could just stick over this thing if we need to protect it. You know, something that looks good. These doors just... They look like poop. And then the whole system of how the scan quality works, it's just not... It isn't jiving for me at the moment, so... I think it's kind of a sore thumb, but oh well. I mean, I have to make this to where it will actually work and I won't just die. So, and I'm trying to do it up here in this kind of awkward area. Okay, just what in the world is going on here? How come every time I turn around, my super coolant is gone? Is there a tile open? Ah! Whatever you do, do not deconstruct the wrong thing. You will lose everything into space. Know this, Duplicants. I know, Travaldo. You're really sad. I know you like to deconstruct things and get people into trouble. If you do this, we could all die. Just thought I'd let you know. Oh my gosh, are these things not plugged in either? But they're hooked up via a manual generator. Oh no, that could be really bad. All right, one last chunk of automation. I have some hydrogen gas in here with a little mini gas pump. And that can fuel the hydrogen generator just for a little while. It'll hopefully allow us to at least get out of this spaceship for long enough to go and explore. All right. How much liquid do I have? 14, not a lot. All right, so there we go. Prototype is up and running. Kind of had to create a weird bump on the back, but you know what? I think this spaceship should be pretty good for survival for a little while. We'll see. What happened? How did you... Travaldo. Oh no, what's wrong? Oh, I see. So, we gotta back the water up a little bit so that it goes into that. There we go. Which means I could just deconstruct all of this and then clear it up and mop it up as well. There we go. Wow, look at all that steam. No, that's really hot. Okay, go away, steam. Thank you. This is a very hot side of the ship. That's all, just real hot. All right, so I've been at this thing for over 3 hours now, so I'm gonna call it right there, but here we have it, the beginnings of the next challenge. We built this spaceship, but now I have to go and explore down into the base and try to survive, starting from way up here. All right, so I've been at this thing for 3 hours, and you can see that we're up and running. Now at this point, I gotta go ahead and do some research. Hopefully everything is stable enough to actually survive for a while. And I'm going to go down here and start to explore and see if I can build a base down here below while living up here in my little spaceship. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this little episode here of Oxygen Not Included. If I've earned your subscription, then thank you so much for that. At any rate, that's all I got time for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out. I have never looked into that farm. Hello.